Thank you, Board President Melvoin, board members, Madam Superintendent. First and foremost, I'd like to begin by acknowledging, as part of oversight, we very much believe that parent engagement is a part of that. The Charter Schools Division receives many inquiries from parents, including Mr. Peterson, on a variety of issues. And we believe that this engagement on the part of parents is critical to the success of any school, and frankly, an important part of charter school oversight in our view. So I'd like to thank Mr. Peterson for raising his concerns. Secondly, I'd like to assure the Board of Education and the public that we have taken these concerns seriously and have reviewed these concerns. So let me explain what we have done. First, this happened last year, the fall as well as in the summer months, where we received concerns from Mr. Peterson regarding Granada Hills admissions practices. It's important to note that these concerns also were filed in a uniform complaint by Mr. Peterson to the California Department of Education, which we also received a copy of and reviewed. In our review of the information, which alleged, as he stated, Granada Hills inappropriate admissions and enrollment practices, specifically citing concerns about discriminatory practices towards students with disabilities, we looked at the charter documents, we looked at their lottery and admissions forms, their enrollment forms. We've also done surprise visits to the random lottery process. In that, ultimately, our findings agree with the California Department of Education, who on May 8, 2017, wrote Mr. Peterson denying the request for the uniform complaint, indicating a critical difference between admissions and enrollment. So a school like Granada, a very popular school, has a lot of students interested in the school. They have an annual lottery process. We review those forms, and it's basic information to ensure that the child is able to be in the lottery. We have given guidance about not having information requested that could be viewed as off-putting to families, or that you're requesting information that's inappropriate. For example, information regarding free and reduced price lunch, unless you have a preference for that in their charter, they do not, or disability status, etc. Okay, so there is a distinction between the admissions process, the lottery, and then enrollment. What we have found, and what the CDE also cited in its letter, is that Granada Hills does not require that information or request that information at the admissions process, the lottery process, but upon enrollment, as any educational institution would, to make sure that once the child is in your school, that the school can make sure that they are servicing the child well from day one. So we wrote Mr. Peterson on July 28, 2017, citing our review and our findings, and also concurring with the California Department of Education's findings. However, we did not stop there. We also gave Granada Hills feedback to say, make sure you make it even clearer that certain things are not required, or even hint at the fact that things are required at the time of admissions or the lottery process, which they did. They have updated their website since the material that Mr. Peterson has cited. We have not yet seen information that shows us anything contrary to our guidance. However, our team has an oversight visit tomorrow, actually, and we'll be raising these questions again and citing that in our report. Lastly, we provided the Board of Education an informative on November 9th regarding our follow-up on these specific items raised by Mr. Peterson, and indicating what I have shared basically here today in writing. And so let me pause there if there are any questions. But again, I want to close by saying I appreciate the engagement by Mr. Peterson and any parent to really ensure that their children are receiving the best education possible. These are public schools, subject to public oversight. We take that very seriously, and happy to answer any of the questions you may have.